When it comes to assembling the cast of a new sitcom, producers are tasked with selecting the right puzzle pieces in order to make it work. Throughout the years, we've seen several actors lead the main cast of a popular show audiences had become familiar with week after week. Tisha Campbell left the cast of Martin in its final season, only to return for its final episode. Janet Huber left The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after its third season, only to be replaced by Daphne Reid for the second half of the series. A similar circumstance would happen on the set of Family Matters, where the actress who portrayed Harriet Winslow for 8 years, Jo Marie Payton, would suddenly exit the sitcom and be replaced by another actress for the exact same role. Although the cast of Family Matters have experienced their fair share of behind-the-scenes jealousy and tensions, Payton's decision to leave the series wasn't a case of two actors butting heads, but instead a desire to move on to other opportunities. Of course, her choice was met with some resistance from some members of the cast and crew. Here's why Jo Marie Payton quit Family Matters. Jo Marie Payton was cast as Harriet Winslow for the sitcom Perfect Strangers at the start of its third season in 1987. 2 years later, it was announced that Harriet would be getting her own spin-off, which followed Harriet and her own family. The show, titled Family Matters, debuted in September of 1989 and was a modest hit until Steve Urkel joined the cast halfway through its first season. With the introduction of Urkel, Family Matters lasted 8 full seasons on ABC, then moved to CBS for its final season. The sitcom was actually renewed for its 10th season, but was canceled before production began. Darius McCrary, who played Eddie Winslow on the series, knew that once the show moved to CBS for season 9, he knew cancellation was on the horizon. We pretty much knew that once the show had switched networks from ABC to CBS, that it was a wrap. If it was in today's game, it would have been a different story because of social media. There was a voice that the audience just didn't have back then. According to an interview for the site TV series Finale back in 2010, Payton was also asked about the sitcom's move from its original network ABC to CBS for its final season. Payton knew the show was nearing its end and thinks ABC knew it too, which is why it switched networks. In that same question, Payton also revealed the reason why she left the show before it ended. Well, I think it probably was because the show was kind of running out of air. What they call jumping the shark, you know what I mean? I know that prior to that, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I just wanted something else to do, just to energize me a little bit more on the creative side. And so I wanted to leave before that. And so at the end of the 8th season, which was my last contracted year, I think I might have had one of the longest contracts out there. So I was like a free agent. And so when they went to CBS and all, they asked me to come back. And I really didn't want to come back. And we agreed that I would come back just to kick off the move to CBS. And that's how that whole deal went. I was to do half a season, 8 of the episodes, and I had an option out, and I exercised my option. I did. Payton recalled a conversation she had with the co-creator of Family Matters, Bob Boett. Bob had asked Payton if she was really ready to move on from the show. Payton said that she was ready to go, but they weren't ready to let go. She even elaborated by saying one of the people in production didn't want her to leave the show because if she left, the show would suffer. I know there were a few people that were a little bit upset that I wanted to go, but I was just ready to leave. I was ready to go before then, but I actually remember having one of the people that were working there saying, "Joe, if you leave, then you know things are going to go crazy. And yeah, I have a daughter in college, and this and that." And so I stayed an extra 2 years. Despite her frustration on the set of Family Matters, Payton loves the craft of acting and compared her struggle to one of a baker. A baker that loves to bake doesn't want to stop baking. They just don't always want to make chocolate cake or chocolate cookies. Payton's final appearance as Harriet Winslow was in the 9th season Christmas episode titled Deck the Malls. Just a few episodes later, actress Judy-Ann Elder took over the role as Harriet, replacing Payton for the final 9 episodes of the series. In 2017, the cast reunited for a profile piece for Entertainment Weekly. Jo Marie Payton's departure and the introduction of Judy-Ann Elder was a topic of conversation. Darius McCrary, who spoke on his adjustment to Payton leaving. No disrespect to Judy-Ann, but I felt like my mom was gone, I did my job as an actor, but there were just so many things that had gone on behind the scenes that the audience wasn't privy to that. They kind of already shut it down. Family Matters is no stranger to the behind-the-scenes drama. One of the most talked about stories is the introduction of Jaleel White's character, Steve Urkel. It's well known that Steve Urkel was only supposed to be a one-time appearance. However, after an overwhelmingly positive audience reaction, he was immediately added to the main cast, causing some animosity behind closed doors. The sitcom was originally focused on the Winslow family, now was going to be focused on Steve Urkel and the Winslow family. Of course, White has come out in the past saying he didn't feel welcomed by the cast when he first arrived at Family Matters, and it took a while for them to warm up to him. Even though the cast might have been caught off guard with the addition to Jaleel White in the cast, Payton did say she understood how he felt because she went through a similar experience as part of the cast of Perfect Strangers. Jaleel jumped out of Family Matters, but I jumped out of Perfect Strangers, you know? It was just a different kind of jump, but I understood some of what he was going through because I felt a little something when I was told that I was getting a spin-off show. I got a little bite, you know, from some of the people from Perfect Strangers. Well, one in particular, you know, I got a little bite, and it was mean and nasty, and I was the only African American on that show, so I was feeling like the Lone Ranger for a minute. So when Jaleel's characters jumped out, I understood that. Despite early tensions on the set, Payton did say that she still keeps in touch with most of the cast, as they are like family to her. I talk to Reggie all the time. I was in Turkey with Telma last year. Kelly, I spoke with her when she had her baby, so a lot of them I still communicate with. If you remember, Payton and her on-screen son, Darius, shared a meal not too long ago, proving that they're still close as well. Many actors have decided to exit a series when they feel that their role no longer serves them and it's time to move on. Unfortunately, more often than not, producers will recast the character, potentially disrupting the chemistry on set instead of ending the series altogether. Jo Marie Payton knew her time as Harriet had come to an end as she no longer felt connected, challenged, or inspired with her work on Family Matters. Incidents like Jo Marie Payton should prove to television executives and producers that actors also have an idea when it might be time for a series to come to an end. Stay up to date with the latest in news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel, follow Comedy Hype across all social media, and look out for original content on our streaming service at comedyhype.com.